to ECCB Connects. We're back after our short break, and we're coming to you from the beautiful Ocean Terrace Inn in St. Kitts and Nevis. For this, the first program of Season 2, we'll be chatting with two students from the University of the West Indies who have spent the past 11 weeks at the ECCB as interns. Nalissa, Stephen, welcome to ECCB Connects.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Nalissa, Stephen, you've just completed your internship at the Eastern Caribbean Central Bank, so we're going to talk about your experience. But before we get into that, tell us a bit about yourself, starting with Stephen.
Okay, so I am currently from the island of Trinidad and Tobago. I'm presently a student of the University of the West Indies, and I've been there for the past 4 years studying economics. 3 years undergrad, 1 year postgrad. When I'm not studying economics, I'm usually experimenting with different recipes, as I have a passion for cooking as well.
Great. Nalissa?
I'm Nalissa. I'm a native of St. Lucia. I'm currently studying at the University of the West Indies, Mona campus. I'm pursuing my master's as well in economics. I've recently completed my first year.
So tell us about your experience at the ECCB as interns.
I've had the opportunity to experience different functions and roles of the department and sort of get a sense of what the ECCB does and how monetary operations, economic theory applies into monetary operations, into real practice. It's been a pretty exciting and packed experience thus far.
I have spent my time within the technical units of the research department. It has been a very good experience. I have been working with some very accommodating colleagues, very friendly. The experience professionally has been a good one because you get the opportunity now to see how monetary policy is actually implemented. The technical meetings, the technical reports, the research, the different technologies that go into actually implementing monetary policy.
Okay. I know as part of your internship, one of your big projects was the preparation of research papers, and you've had the experience to share your paper with what I would call a group of seasoned economists and statisticians. Let's start with you, Stephen. I know you did a paper on small and medium-sized enterprises. What was that experience like for you presenting your paper?
My paper is based on small and medium-sized enterprises, financing of small and medium-sized enterprises within the ECCU region. We did with specifically towards ECCU, and we focused on some selected CARICOM countries as well. Essentially what the findings of our paper is, we found that small and medium enterprises within the ECCU do have constraints to finance it when it comes to accessing finance, and both in terms of demand for finance. We find that they are more discouraged in terms of demand for finance. The presentation was pretty intense. I had an opportunity to present before a group of seasoned economists, and before the presentation, my supervisor and I, while we were preparing the presentation slides and stuff, he was saying we need to be on par, we need to be focused, because we'll be presenting before a panel of seasoned economists, and you need to anything out of the ordinary, those guys would pick it up.
Yeah.
So we need to make sure and cover all our bases. During the presentation, I was pretty nervous during the presentation, as you had all these seasoned economists looking at you. I wanted to make sure I didn't say anything out of the ordinary or nothing. But overall, I was able to get favorable reviews, and based on the comments, I was able to refine and enhance my paper to bring it up to a publishing quality.
Great, great. Nalissa, your paper was about unemployment, the labor market. Tell us a bit more about your paper.
So the seminar series was one of the most memorable experiences here for me. It was a good opportunity to present my piece, to defend it, but also to get some good feedback as to how I could really enhance the paper so that I could, present something that is really a good piece at the end that could be published. So my paper was on the labor market in St. Lucia specifically. I looked at the situation in terms of the high unemployment rates that we currently are experiencing in the country and the low growth scenario. So I attempted to map out the situation there and to present prospective sectors which going forward are potential sectors that could create growth and create employment.
Now, from your experience, how do you plan to transfer your experience of working at the ECCB as well as preparing and presenting your paper? How do you plan to transfer that into your actual work when you go back to university?
Over the past 11 weeks, I was able to acquire skills in research, new skills in research, new skills in econometrics, and in future research that I see myself doing. I will be able to apply these to better enhance papers that I will work on in the future, and overall become a better researcher at the end of the day.
Melissa?
Well, for me, I go back to school after I leave St. Kitts, and my next year will entail a lot of research work. So I guess I've gotten an appreciation for the entire process of preparing a paper which is of a high standard. And I'm also expecting that, some of the colleagues that I've gotten an opportunity to rub shoulders with, I could keep them as contacts who I could possibly bounce off ideas and, get that sort of guidance, continued guidance as I move on.
So I know it wasn't all work. You had some fun. Share with us your fun experience in St. Kitts.
So I had opportunities to visit parts of the islands, traverse different areas of the islands, and compared to back home, it's a beautiful place. It's small and beautiful, and overall it was a quite enlightening experience. It was peaceful, quite calm, and.
I am more of an indoor person, but the little bit that I got to take in of St. Kitts on the fun side was interesting. It was different, but St. Kitts is beautiful, a beautiful country like you said, and I've enjoyed it.
What's next for you, Stephen?
Moving ahead, based on my research and my experience that I have experienced over the past 11 weeks, I feel more confident now going out there as a researcher, and I would use those to develop a solid research outline of which I can later build to use to secure an entrance into a university to pursue a PhD in economics.
Melissa, where do you go from here?
Well, the immediate future is to complete my final year of the master's program in Jamaica. And from there, I'm going to explore the opportunities that exist within my region, and looking forward to, going into the working world and actually contributing to the development of my country and the region, because that's really the reason why I would have chosen economics as a field of study.
So Melissa, you've said that you'll be heading back to school to complete your studies. What then will you say to fellow students, those who are considering taking up an internship? What will you have to say to them in terms of taking up an internship at the Eastern Caribbean Central Bank?
I would tell them definitely it's a very good experience, very good exposure to the working world, to monetary implementation within the region. It would put you outside of your comfort zone, but it's an opportunity to grow, to rub shoulders with some of the best, to learn from them, and to take away that new skill set, that new confidence out there into the working world. So it's a good opportunity.
Great. Stephen?
Yes. I would say to those young students into the field of economics, at the ECCB, for me personally, it was a pretty intellectually rewarding experience. I had a lot of opportunities to develop and learn new things and work on new ideas and see monetary and economic theory into practice. And to secure that experience, that possibility of being selected for the internship, study to distinguish yourself among the other students. Work hard towards it. Be open to new ideas.
Nelissa, Stephen, thank you very much for speaking with us on ECCB Connects, and all the best in your studies, Nelissa, and whatever ventures you seek to pursue, Stephen. All the best to you both.
Thank you for having us.
You're watching ECCB Connects, protecting our currency, developing our region. And now for this week's financial tip.
Hi, my name is Trisha Etienne from Grenada. Cut back on expensive consumption habits. You can live without that new dress every month or those weekly trips to the bar. The objective is to trim your optional expenses so you can have more money to save and invest.
To view any episode of ECCB Connects, anytime, any place, at your convenience, check out our YouTube channel, ECCB Connects.
That brings us to the end of this week's episode of ECCB Connects. Remember, ECCB Connects is produced by the Eastern Caribbean Central Bank to help you understand who we are, what we do, and how we serve you. Remember to subscribe to our YouTube channel and like us on Facebook. See you next week for another exciting program.